Hey, True Believers, Englentine here with another Marvel vs. DC Comics. Now, if you haven't been around for these, basically the comic books that you're going to see the covers fly by here, I read them, reviewed them, did a little quick review, just about 40 seconds to a minute or something, just to give you an idea of how they were, and then ranked them. Gave them 1 star if they're horrible, 2 star if they're bad, 3 star if they were average, 4 star if they're good, and 5 star if they're excellent. Gave them a score. So at the end, we could find out if it was Marvel or DC that was the best. Now, full disclosure, I'm a DC fan. So, yeah, I tend to lean that direction. But a good book is a good book, and I really do try to read these with an open mind. I want everything to be a 5-star book. I know that isn't the way, but we'll see. Also, I do put the video reviews in order from worst to best, so you do kind of get a countdown, although I don't put the numbers up because, well, that would take a long time, and I am just a little bit lazy, to tell you the truth about that fact. Anyway, goodness, I would like all the covers to pass by here before I get started, and we're almost there. I love this cover, by the way. So, without further ado, I guess we'll get this party started, won't we? Oh, dang it, just one more cover to go. It was 2 more, right? Because it was Venom and then Wonder Woman, I think. Yeah, here we go. All right, now we're getting started. The 1-star books are horrible. Definitely stay away from these. Superman number 7. Holy Toledo, I did a full review of I wasn't going to do this. I'm pretty much done because individual reviews, they don't get a lot of views. So I was like, okay, no more individual reviews. But then I read this book and it pissed me off so freaking much. I did 11 minutes. And by God, I'll tell you what, I turned on the record and I didn't stop. That was 11 minutes worth of rant that I could have gone on for another 10 because of how bad this fucking book is. But I guess how horribly Brian Michael Bendis has ruined Superman. By all means, see that video. It's damn well worth it. It's more worth it than this book is. That's for damn sure. The 2-star books are bad. They could have been horrible, but maybe they just have this one little saving grace. Suicide Squad number 50. Now, there's a comic book trope and sci-fi, basically, where a virus hits, and then they turn into a grotesque. You know, in this case, Amanda Waller turns 20 feet tall and ends up having a mouth in her stomach. That bitch is dead. Because in the trope, of course, they're cured and they go back to normal. Thanks for curing me, guys. But seriously, no, that it doesn't happen that way. And plus, where did the extra mass come from? How did she end up 20 feet tall? I don't know. It's a book, but it's not good. This was not a good issue at all, guys. Not at all. Marvel Comics presents number 1. This is the second time I'm recording this, and I'm going to try to do it in the 40-second allotted time and without all of the swearing I put in the first recording because I got really mad at it. Not for this story. This is okay. Wolverine fights a demon and then finds out that he's got a curse on it. This is a continued story, and I'm very happy that Marvel Comics presents is back because now they can introduce people from the Marvel Universe. If they do it right, this could be awesome. Namor here, on the other hand, is a big-ass allegory about how the United States are the villains of World War II. And the Captain America story is the one that really pissed me off. Now, I'm going to do a full review of it for Patreon and for Ko-Fi, so please, by all means, go on, drop $1 in the till. It'll be there for you. But this is all about Captain America saying he's a better parent than the mother of a child. Yeah, it wasn't good. It really wasn't. Yeah. The overall book is passable, I guess. It pissed me off. The 3-star books, they're average. Either they didn't resonate with me or I liked them, but just not enough to recommend them. Man Without Fear number 3. So, when you're a comic book collector, not just a comic book reader, you tend to give a better grade to books you like. Like, I'm a Daredevil fan, therefore I'm predisposed to giving Daredevil a better grade than I normally would. A bad book may become an okay book. An okay book becomes a good book. That's what happened here. I said last issue, if it doesn't pick up, I'm going to have to start really looking at it. And in all honesty, the dialogue is so repetitive here. Now, granted, it's going between him wanting to retire at the hospital and then them doing something with a fool killer. But when it comes right down to it, every other page is him having the same conversation with someone else. It's really about 4 pages worth of story stretched out over to 22, and I can't say it's good anymore. I'm sorry. This is not something I can recommend. Black Widow #1. So let's start with the positives. The cover is good. The art is not horrible. It works for the book especially. You spend most of the time dealing with Captain America versus Captain America while Black Widow helps, so it's not really her book until halfway through. And then she says something along the lines of, I need to take a break so I could go find someone to kill. She doesn't use those words exactly. She says actually she wants to find someone she could release her killer instinct on, which makes me think, okay, she's actively trying to find someone to kill while she's in Madripoor, dressed like Wolverine's Patch. Catwoman #7. Now, Catwoman is a beautiful looking book. I love the art. And I always said, well, okay, you know, it's the story. They're just not telling a good story, so that's what's wrong with the comic book. And I have to say that Catwoman #7 proves me wrong. Holy Toledo, this isn't even a story. This is what happens before the story begins. So Catwoman and Penguin have a meeting. This is them getting to that meeting. You want to talk about uselessness written for the trade? All over the place right here. Seriously, what a useless comic book this is. Red Hood Outlaw #30. So, not much to this one, tell you the truth. He goes to a prison of sorts, a factory, and he's looking around. He actually thinks Artemis and Bizarro had been there before, but gets attacked. And the guy's like, oh, we don't approve of Batman's methods. We want to recruit you. He says no, of course, but then, you know, goes exploring around the factory. And if I sound bored, it's because I was. He got a dog. That's good. He got a dog. That's something I can say positive about the book. So, Invaders #1. Captain America is afraid that Namor is about to go to war with the surface world, and he talks to Human Torch, who's writing a tell-all book about the invaders, and he says, well, I don't think he's ever left World War II. Yeah, no kidding. That was actually something that Human Torch said, and they took it like it's valid. Something else they took as valid is Captain America going, well, Avengers are just going to start a war with him. I'm going to send the invaders to talk to him. And seriously, it's just getting together everything, and while Human Torch is trying to write the tell-all book, it's pretty average. You know, it's not bad, but eh. In Venom #10, we get a little bit of Eddie Brock origin, and of course we find out how badly he was abused, what he did in order to want to protect innocence, which I'm thinking, okay, there was a retcon at some point in time that made him not become a villain, I guess. But I understand I missed a chunk of Marvel DC, so that's fine. It's a pretty good tale. Like I said before, I'm not a fan of Venom, and this doesn't change. It's just it's a good story. That's all I got to say about that. Wonder Woman #62. #G Willow Wilson has done nothing wrong. Granted, she hasn't done much right either. I mean, this is a decent book. It's not a great book. It's interesting enough, I guess. That being said, it could just be the fact that Wonder Woman sucked so horribly bad before she got on this that it just seems like it's improved a lot. There is that possibility. It has improved a lot because it was sucked so bad and it got at least mediocre. And that's what I'm saying right here. This is a decent, mediocre, middle-of-the-road kind of book. Detective Comics 996. So, wow. This has Batman going to see Henry Deckard. They find out that it's the people who trained him who are being taken out. Or he said, the people who made me are being unmade. Sorry, Tomasi. I mean, usually I'm on your side, but that was not a very good line. It's okay. It's got one of those monster things that transforms, and that's kind of ridiculous. But overall, I liked everything that surrounded that particular scene. Yeah, I guess it's a 3-star book. Titans #33. So they're in a fictional world. And they're getting advice from some guy reading the book of the fictional world they're in. And I thought that was pretty cool. The Church of Blood is there. I hate the way they're doing Beast Boy. I'm going to say that every time I read this book until they change him back to the shapeshifter. Otherwise, he's just a copy of the Beast. Guys, we've got Hank McCoy over at X-Men for this. I don't know. Overall, it's a comic book. They made it. It exists. Not bad. Not great. It's there. Uncanny X-Men number 10. Wow, what a mixed bag this book is. There's a lot of really cool action and a lot of good scenes here where you are contemplating character and emotion. That being said, there's some wordy segments that just repeat what had been said before, and that drags the book down. Otherwise, this would definitely be a 4-star. It would be good. I would be able to recommend it. But no, not the way it is. It definitely needed editing, I think. Just one more pass. Star Wars, Age of Republic. Not Age of the Republic? Anyway, Age of Republic Special number 1. Number 1 doesn't mean anything. This is a one-shot. Anyway, it's a whole bunch of different stories. And they're, the Mace Windu story here was pretty good. I liked it. It's basically him being led by a whole bunch of people to their boss so he can fight him. And it ends up being pretty badass. I like Mace Windu as a character in the comic books. Let's see if I can remember these. Oh, this is about a bounty hunter. And she wants to go to accept a bounty to get Asaka, I think her name is, but ends up freeing like a school full of orphan girls. This one was, all of them were pretty good. Yeah, this is the weakest of them, but I did kind of like the fact that you have Jar Jar Binks trying to act competent. They should give him a little better story arc. Overall, it's a pretty good book. Not great, but pretty good. The Batman Who Laughs, number 2, is, I read it and I went, what? Okay, so the setup was good. I liked how the Batman Who Laughs got it over on Bruce Wayne, on our Batman, I guess, and I liked the fact that he called him the Batman Who Failed and all that kind of stuff. There's good parts, but in the end, it really relies on you having knowledge of the New 52 and things that have come before. If you don't, you're going to be a little bit lost, I know, because I only know a little bit about it, and I was a little bit lost as well. Not the best. Once again, I didn't have any 5 stars. Maybe I'm getting grumpy in my old age. And the 4-star books are legitimately good, and I am proud to recommend them to you. Scooby Apocalypse, number 33. So they're dealing with Fred. They're dealing with Velma's brother coming back, and I think it's about time for the series to end. Now, don't get me wrong. This is a fun series. It's a good series, but they're beginning to repeat themselves just a little bit, and I think it's time. Let's find a way to end it. Let's find a way to close shop. Number 50, that would be an awesome place to call it a day. It's been a great run. This is a good book. This particularly is a good issue as well, but I just wanted to get this thought out there. As much as I love Scooby Apocalypse, it's time to say goodbye. Sometimes when I read an issue like Black Panther number 8, I'm like, okay, so it really does seem like Ta-Nehisi Coates is getting the character down. He understands what he's doing, and it's going to be about superheroics and not about the politics behind it. This is one of those issues, I'm very happy to say. I enjoyed this. I'm liking the tail end of this story so far, and by that you can almost hear the quotation marks around liking. It's been getting better, and that's definitely appreciative. It's exactly what we always say. You got to talk about the social issues, but you can't hammer them. You can say racism is bad, but don't say you are a racist, which is the direction Marvel's been going in. And I think so for the last couple issues, he's found that balance. Amazing Spider-Man number 13 is all about Frederick Foswell Jr. and J. Jonah Jameson's basically skirting around creating Spider-Man villains. It's all about Jameson's past. That's what this book is about. And in all honesty, it's kind of nice. I like this story. It's good to see an arc to J. Jonah Jameson, because he really was for a long time a one-note character. I've got to say that is what Chip Zdarsky and now what's his name here, has been bringing to the table. So far, so good. This is a pretty decent book. The Flash, number 62. I dug this, man. So they go to Roulette's casino and confront her. I mean, that's basically it. You get a little backstory on the character Psyche. And, well, they kind of give it away in the cover here, don't they? That it's all a bit of a ruse. And the funny thing is the variant cover happens in the book. So lots of fun. I do like the fact that he had to take on a whole bunch of people, but it did seem weird that he's taking out all of his villains in 1 or 2 panels when usually they take whole issues. Ironheart number 2. Man, we have always said the best way to get Comicsgate, and this is real Comicsgate, not Shopping Club Comicsgate. The best way to get us to shut up is to start making good comics. Finally, they're doing Riri Williams right. I like this issue. I like the fact that she seems to be more friendly neighborhood rather than world killer. I think the teenage heroes should be. I like the fact that the college came down on her, saying, no, you know, it's not your lab. We're just letting you use it, that kind of thing. She was smacked down that way. There's a lot to like about this issue. And, yeah, gotta say, Eve, you're pulling it off. Keep going. Conan the Barbarian number 2. Thank goodness. So far, it is proving that issue number 1 is not a fluke. This is pretty cool. So this is a get to know your enemy kind of story where, you know, you see him slaughtering a whole bunch of people and then he fights these big snakes, but then the people who he were slaughtering, the survivors brought him in and he gets to know them while they're all slaughtering the snakes. That's the story. And it's good. It really is. I'm liking what Jason Aaron's doing. He's keeping it simple. You know, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Make it a Conan story. You don't have to add in anything else because Conan's already awesome. Justice League Dark, number 7. Now, usually anthology books are a mixed bag where you have some good, some bad. Now, granted, there are better stories in here than others, but all of them are good. It's like good to best, and that's the way you find it. I like the one with Wonder Woman and Frankenstein. Frankenstein's sacrifice is amazing. I enjoyed Zatara, which also had a sacrifice in it. Yeah, good here. Seriously, check out Justice League Dark if you haven't already been doing so. Supergirl, number 26. Dude, Mark Andreyko's actually pretty much writing a decent Supergirl. Supergirl's been pretty badass. Man, Superman's tanking. So this is the whole, well, we captured her, now we want to sell her for genetic cloning kind of thing. She's in space. She doesn't have her superpowers until she comes up against somebody from Tamarin and gets them to shoot her. I thought that was pretty clever. Anywho, yeah, it's stuff like that. And plus, these covers. Come on. Excellent freaking covers. I like what Spike said, by the way. You should be watching his videos as well. But Spike said once that it's like you buy the cover and you get a free comic book with it. Fantastic Four, number 6. Wow. I dig this, man. I know a lot of people are mad at Slott to the point where they're bringing it over to Fantastic Four. I think he's doing a fine job. I'm liking this. And this issue right here is pure doom. Now, granted, what to say? So he does create a herald, and it comes into play later. Otherwise, this is pure Reed versus Dr. Doom, but the mental part of it, not exactly physical, as he also Dr. Doom, I mean, also tries to go up against Galactus. This is a fun book. I like this. Jessica Jones, Purple Daughter, number 1, surprised me. Now, granted, this is a mopey book. There's a lot of repeating dialogue, but it's basically their daughter is purple. So it occurred to them, as it will you as a reader, that perhaps the purple man had raped her and the child is his. This comes up a couple of times. Luke Cage is having a hard time dealing with it. It's a very mature subject, but here's the shocking thing. It's handled maturely. It's a good-looking book as well. Was just floored by how much I like this story. And it is not one with a lot of action, but it's definitely one with a lot of depth and character. And the number one comic, or at least you could call it my favorite comic book of the week, is Hawkman number 8. So Hawkman goes to one of his past lives on Krypton. And apparently he's trying to there to try to get a weapon. But what ensues is a very poignant and very kind of morose conversation, very deep. I was not expecting this, especially with the cover. Not this one, but the other one. It's almost like, aha, remember he's going to be a Superman-style villain or hero on Krypton instead? Yeah, it's deep, man. It'll make you feel for him. Seriously, this will be like, oh, man, I know what's going to happen to this past life, and I don't want it to. It's pretty good. So there you go, gang. Those were the comics. That was the reviews. Let's see who wins the week. Just for kicks and giggles, I decided to add points as well as the average. It's very basic. If I did a top 10, number 1 would be worth 10 points, 2 would be worth 9, 3 would be worth 8, so forth and so on until like number 10 is 1. I did that as well here, so 1 is worth 26 points and so forth. Okay, so let's get this thing going. Marvel Comics had 0 1 stars, 1 2 stars, 6 3 stars, 6 4 stars. There were 13 comics, a score of 44, and an average of 3.38, and a score of 181. DC had 1 1 star, 1 2 star, 6 3 stars, 5 4 stars. There were 13 comics, a score of 41, an average of 3.15, and a score of 165. So there you go. Damn. Marvel won handily. They kicked DC's ass. And I'm a DC fan. I try to keep it honest, gang. I have to review a book the way I see it, whether I like it or not. It has to be honest, and that's what I try to give you. But would I like to see DC win? Of course I do. I'm a DC guy. I prefer their heroes over the Marvel stuff. But unfortunately, that's not the way it panned out, and Marvel kicked ass, I gotta say. It was a hard call between Jessica Jones and Hawkman even as to what was the best book of the week. And it came down to this one aspect. Which one do I want to read again? And Hawkman won that. And that's mainly because while they were both very serious subjects, I just found Hawkman to be a little bit more interesting, and Jessica Jones did a little bit too much repeating. Anyway, what do you think of the list? What do you think of the reviews? Let me know in the comments below. What was I too harsh on? What was I too easy on? Also, don't forget to click like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification button if you haven't done it already. I'd hate for you to miss anything. And I do have Patreon and supporter-only content on both Ko-Fi and Patreon. That's where a lot of the individual comic book reviews are going. So you get full reviews of Jessica Jones and all the number ones. I'm definitely trying to get to every number one. And so yeah, if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Patreon, to Ko-Fi, or just drop $1 in the till at PayPal. And help us keep the lights on. That would be very nice. Help us keep making videos for you. That's very important. And I would like to thank everybody who helped us out. And to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.